Oh, I'd like to welcome you to Aqua Magnets, where we can talk about their water restoration equipment, which is incredible for solving problems with buildings, bodies, and grounds. Now, the hard water problem, and it's a serious problem for anybody that has water, no matter where it is. And the biggest problem with it is that it builds up calcified scale, and it happens in your plumbing, your appliances, it'll be on windows, it'll be in equipment, shows up on fixtures, and it's a real serious problem. And I've in my last home that I lived in for 20 years, it was serious enough that I ended up replacing kitchen faucets several times, several hot water heaters. It's a problem that faces everyone, and there are a lot of solutions to this, and most of them are not environmentally friendly solutions using salt or harsh cleaning chemicals. Both are expensive and very environmentally unfriendly, as I mentioned before. The other problem is that the minerals, because of the way they are in the water, are largely unavailable to people, plants, and animals that consume hard water. There's also a serious loss of efficiency. In fact, I was surprised when I found out that just a thin layer of calcified hard water, say on the inside of your hot water tank, will actually increase the operating cost by 10%. Another issue is the low oxygen in water, making it anaerobic, causes rapid growth of undesirable algae. And it's just not a good situation, and it also causes corrosion or rust in your pipes and equipment. Now, there's a hard water solution, and that is to go through a water restoration process or a polarization process. And Aqua Magnets really control just two things. One is the pH and the other is polarity. Now, how does it do this? First of all, it increases pH, making the water more alkaline or healthier. It does this by freeing up hydrogen, and of course pH means a percent of hydrogen, or there's other terms that are applied to it. Basically, it's a reflection of how much hydrogen is in the water or available in the water. Aqua Magnets water restoration also controls the polarity of the minerals, making water like it was at the source, highly charged with negative minerals. Now, here's an illustration of how the Aqua Magnets work, and I just want to bring one point here, and that is that notice that the pipe that water comes in is a grounded pipe, and so it's very negative. It's picking up the negative ions from the earth, and when these, by the time that the water hits your home, it's been stored, it's been through piped, it's had chemical processes, and in that whole process, by the time it hits your home, the minerals in the water, which are negative when at the source, say at the glacier, are now a positive charge, and that positive charge plus the form that the calcium is in attracts it to pipes, and it adheres to the pipe and becomes this incredibly hard scale. Well, once it's gone through the polarizer, you'll notice that the minerals are then reversed in polarity, making them negative, and they're also changed in terms of the type of calcium. It goes from being calcium like a rock to calcium like powder, and we'll talk about that later. But between the change of polarity and the type of calcium, it's repelled from the pipe and isn't in a form that'll stick, and so it just flows right on through. Not only that, but because of the increased hydrogen, you'll find that it'll also strip off the old calcium that's there. Very exciting because you don't use chemicals, there's no salt, there's no energy used, or at least it's not a renewable energy. There's no maintenance, and there's just no problem. Now, when hard water is restored, first of all, and most significant for anybody that's dealt with hard water scale buildup, is that it just eliminates it in your plumbing, your appliance, windows, equipment. it's gone. The second thing is it changes the calcium from a carbonate, which is a rock, to an aragonite, which is a very small crystal that's as fine as a talcum powder, and so it just dissolves and cannot adhere to anything. It's just gone. Minerals become available to people, plants, and animals that consume hard water because it's a powder instead of a rock, but it's also magnetically attracted to the body because again, it's a negative and the body's a positive, and so you have that additional assimilability of the minerals into the body, plants, and animals. It increases the efficiency due to clean equipment. Just strips all the old calcium off, the scale build up, and just works better. It increases the oxygen. You have high oxygen in water that causes excellent growth of plants, and we'll show you some of these later. Also stops and eliminates corrosion in pipes and equipment. In fact, we had a fellow who had bought a home to remodel it, and the pipes were so old and he could only replace so much. There was some of the plumbing he just couldn't get to, and he approached us and asked if we had a solution for it. We said, sure, put one of our units on your home and it'll eliminate the corrosion and rust. And 2 weeks later he came back and said that instead of getting rust out of his faucet every time he turned water on, it was just as clean as can be because it had eliminated that corrosion and rust. Now, some other things that happen when hard water is restored is it decreases the chlorine through oxygenation and polarization. Now, not necessarily a total elimination of chlorine, but it sure increases the taste of it. You can smell it less, and in a lot of cases it does disappear. It also creates a sweeter tasting tap water through the attraction from the ambient air. The water absorbs more oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, making the water taste better and smell better due to that increase in oxygen. It also increases the hydrogen in water, making it more alkaline. Water's wetter by removing the surface tension. It makes it more absorbable, which really helps out in plants and things of that nature. In lawns and any agricultural plant. Minerals are more assimilated and bioavailable to plants, animals, and humans, making their ability to get minerals increase quite a bit. Plants grow faster with less fertilizing due to more minerals, nitrogen, and free oxygen. Literally what this does, it really helps in all types of buildings, all types of bodies that use water, and all types of grounds or agricultural situations. Now, I'd like to show you some examples of what our aqua magnets have done for different people. Now, on the left, you'll see a picture of a hot water heater that's had our aqua magnet on for just a couple of weeks, and after the 2 weeks of running the restored water through this hot water heater, all the surface corrosion and hard water buildup drained right out into the floor. And what you're seeing here is only about 1/10 of the amount of calcium buildup that came off and corrosion that was actually in the hot water heater. Now, on the picture on the right, just notice that the water coming out of the hot water heater now is just as clear and beautiful looking as can be. Now, here's another situation for helping buildings, and this actually came out of my own shower when I bought this home. I went in and saw the shower heads, and the one on the left's what we had. It was all we turned it on, and about 2/3 of the water nozzles were plugged up, and it had the scale build up all around it. I actually took the picture with my phone camera. So that I'd go to Home Depot and try to match the color for a new shower head, because I know that it's just tough to get that hard water scale out of situations like this. And yet, after putting the aqua magnet polarizer on our home, after just a couple of weeks, I noticed the nozzles were starting to clean up, and I took my thumb and just wiped it around on the hard scale, and a lot of it came off. And So every time I'd shower, I'd just put my thumb up there and wipe a little more off, and after a couple of months, you see what my shower head looked like. Beautiful, clear, clear of any scale buildup. And the interesting thing is that it's still that way months later. The other interesting about the shower is that the shower door was also just covered with hard scale buildup. And of course, if I had enough patience, I could probably run polarized water over it long enough to clean it up. But we went ahead and got some chemicals, cleaned all the hard water off, and I find that if I just take a squeegee after a shower and wipe the water off, then it's the waters or my window's always clean. You never get that hard water buildup. The interesting is if I don't clean the shower, you get a little dusting of that fine powder of mineral, but instead of adhering and being really difficult to get off, you just take a wet rag and wipe it off, and it comes off just like powder. Okay, now here's another example of what it's like on equipment. Now, in our home, frequently people will boil water in the pan. This is like every morning they boil a little water and make a hot drink out of it. Well, after several days of boiling hot water in the pan, you get this white buildup, which in typical hard water, that'll be hard scale buildup on the pan, and you'll have to get lime away or some other chemical that will break down the hard scale. And yet with our Aqua magnet unit on the right, I just took my finger and instead of having to use harsh chemicals and scrubbing, I just took my finger and wiped it off, and it came off just like powder. It's truly amazing to watch this work. Now on the home we bought, on the left, that's we bought the home in January. In spring, when the snow's all melted, our lawn looked horrible, partially or largely because the folks we bought it from didn't water the lawn all the previous summer, and so it was in tough shape. I put one of our the Aqua magnet units on our sprinkler system, and you'll see because they told me, hey, put this on, it'll green up your lawn, it'll look beautiful, and I was a little bit skeptical because I've had pastures and lawns and dealt with them for years, and I had to put the chemicals on or the fertilizers and everything else to make them look good. And I got up one day, went out to my car and looked out the window there on the right picture, and I looked across at our lawn. And saw it compared to the neighbor's lawn who had fertilized, and it was a nice looking lawn. I was shocked to find that my lawn was greener than his, and I hadn't put any fertilizer on. All I'd done was watered it, and you can see how well it filled in. It was just, again, an astonishing thing to see. And so here's some pictures to compare. The one on the left is our back lawn compared to the neighbor's. You'll see it's much greener. The one in the front, which is on the right, again, an astonishing difference between the greenness along. The other exciting thing is, a lot of times when you put nitrogen on lawn as a fertilizer, you get a lot of growth, and yet in height, and I didn't see that. All I saw was the greenness come, but I only had to mow the lawn about every other week. Very exciting for me. Now, here's another example of another subdivision of condos. When they built the subdivision, they put the lawns in, and then the contractor that did it, when they fertilized everybody's lawn, they somehow inadvertently dumped Roundup into the fertilizer, and so they ended up with what you see on the right is everybody's lawn looked dead. And that's the way it was. They had to sue the guy to come replace it. But our fellow who had a polarizer on his home got out his hose and started watering his lawn with polarized water. And you see the results. His lawn was green and lush while everybody else's was dead, and they actually had to replace everybody's lawn but his. Because of the effect of that Roundup on the lawn. It was an amazing story. Now, here are some people that we have worked with on putting units into their home and their businesses. This is in a hotel. The owner, the manager said, a persistent stain inside the whirlpool we got rid of it with nothing more than a little elbow grease. Stain came off, where they reduced their cleaning chemicals by half, and the pool and the whirlpool are noticeably clearer, and my chemical use has been cut down by 60%. Very exciting for them. Now, here's a company that makes windows. They were faced with buying a new piece of equipment in their manufacturing process that was so gummed up with hard water scale that they could not get it clean with chemicals anymore. They were going to go buy a new one, which was several $100,000. Put one of the units on their manufacturing system. They said the machines that were once covered with deposits that limited water pressure and cleaning effectiveness are now build-up free and working nearly as well as they did when they were new. Filters we changed every day are now changed every fourth day, lengthening the heating element's life. And their employees commented on how much better the water tasted. We've got another business, a laundromat. Now I went down and visited with John, and he told me that he has a boiler to heat the water in his laundromat. It's about as big as a desk, a modest-sized desk, and he said every 6 months for years he'd have to tear the thing apart and use chemicals, strip all the hard water scale off. Well, he put one of our polarizing units on his water system, and that was 5 years ago. Hasn't touched his boiler, and it's cleaned up all of his washers. He also put it on his natural gas, which he says that he could see a difference in the burning of the natural gas, and saw a sizable decrease in the amount of his gas bill. And he says he used 50% less soap to water his wetter. We also use less water with savings. And he was able to lower the temperature of their boilers by 15 degrees, saving in both heating and electrical costs. There was no scale buildup. Won't have to replace our boilers or heating equipment. And very, very excited about what it's done for his business, and just really decreased the amount of cost and maintenance that he has to go through. Now here's a hairstyling college where they said we've noticed softer skin and water tastes really good. Hands feel better and not so chapped. The toilets are easier to clean. I'm very impressed with the results. Here's just we put one on on his facility where it cleaned out the water holding tank in the refrigerator. Our water tastes better than any other water I can find. We have used to have a problem. We used to have a problem with hard water buildup. We spend virtually no time scrubbing, less money to get rid of spots and buildup. Manufacturing. Now here's a company that would had a manufacturing process where they leach minerals out of during a process, and then they sell it as a mineral drink. He says, I was able to increase my yield 33%. A 33% increase in sellable finished product has been a hefty bonus to our bottom line. We also, although I don't have a letter from him, we helped a company that does composting. In order to compost, they'd have to go out and spray their compost beds with water. And it would take 11 truckloads of water to do the composting process. We put a polarizer on their truck, so when it sprayed the water, it was spraying polarized water on it, restored water. And the guy claimed that they dropped down to 6 loads of water, and the composting increased dramatically in the speed that it would compost. And so very effective in these kinds of situations. Of course, in a residential, 1 shampooing stood at 2. Less detergent in the laundry, came out cleaner. Bathroom fixtures came clean. Water spots on the mirror simply wiped off. Home was virtually free of chlorine, and very excited about having it in their home. Now, here's another situation where it helps equipment, and this is on your, they used it on a diesel purifier, so it would help destroy the algae, and an interesting piece of equipment, and again it applies and help their process to be much more effective. Now here we have a document by the Department of Energy where it talks about a study where on page 1 it says the magnetic or electrostatic scale control technologies can be used as a replacement for most water softening equipment. And then on page 9 it says, while the evidence supporting the technology may be thought of as mainly anecdotal, the fact remains that upon visual inspection after installation of these devices, the formation of new scale deposits has been inhibited. In addition, in many cases, scale deposits present within the system at the time of installation have been removed. And of course, that's what we found in 30 years of experience, is that when you put it through this process, and I might say that it's not just a lot of people know, well, it's just tapes and magnets on a pipe, and that's part of it. But there are several issues that have to be in play to make it work as effective as our water polarizers work. And you have to have all those things there. But this is just verification that the technology is well documented. People know that it works, and it's been working for years. Now, if you have any application in the area of a residential home, office building, grocery stores, laundromats, hotels, motels, restaurants, very effective in restaurants, ponds, aquariums, composting operations, firefighting, mining, oil drilling, organic farms, agricultural irrigation, golf courses, car washes, or even use in gas and diesel vehicles, these polarizing units have a place in your life, and Aqua magnets is a great way to go. We know they work. We've seen them through years of experience, and we would like to help you simplify your life by being able to get rid of the hard water issues and make those things that were negative about hard water into a very powerful positive in your life, so that you can have better buildings, better grounds, and more healthy bodies. And we invite you to experience it with us.